Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Welcome in, folks, to Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers for Inside Rebel Football here live on LA 105.3 right here on Cypress Street in West Monroe, the site of our coaches show each and every Wednesday night here at 6 o'clock. We'll get to talk with coaches and players, and we'll talk about last week's game. We'll talk about the upcoming game against Catholic and get to visit with some of our guys, some of our players. Always one of the fun parts of our show. Letting our audience hear those guys, get to know those guys a little bit better. And also, we stream Inside Rebel Football. Coach Colby Ashley's here with us, and it'll be up on YouTube tomorrow on the West Monroe High School Football Facebook page. It'll take you to a link to West Monroe High School YouTube channel, and you'll be able to catch Inside Rebel Football right there and watch our interviews and take a look at our players. And couldn't be possible without all of our sponsors and their generous support of West Monroe football and Inside Rebel Football. And we certainly appreciate them. Appreciate Dawson Bowes back at the studio. Tim Gallion here with us, who does our sound engineering on Wednesday nights and Friday nights during the broadcast. And Jonna Van, who's a big part of our Inside Rebel Football show as well. We appreciate her support. And always start things off with head coach Kevin Davis. And Coach, it was a fun Friday night for West Monroe over in Stonewall. The Rebels poured it on North DeSoto 63-14. Started off 14-14. Looked like, well, we're going to be in another shootout. Things started to settle down defensively. Defense really found a groove and settled in very nicely. And then your offense seemed to really, you guys, the play calling seemed to be right just about every time. And you guys executed very well. Before we get into specifics, just your overall thoughts. You've had a chance to look at the tape. Your overall thoughts of the Rebels' performance.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Both sides of the ball. Coaches did a tremendous job just preparing our kids, getting them ready to play the game. And I thought we just got better and better defensively, just understanding where we needed to be, playing that quick spread offense. Another good quarterback, and just threw it around. But I thought we adjusted to the speed. I thought we adjusted to how we wanted to play it, and obviously we were really good up front. And I think that's where it all started on both sides of the football.
Let me ask you about. Let's talk about your defense first.
Okay.
You go to Pulaski the week before. Your thoughts on? We were talking about this on the post-game show. Had you not seen that hurry-up offense and that type of offense the week before, could have been a little more shocked and could have taken a little longer to settle in on Friday night. Do you think going to Pulaski helped the defense going into North DeSoto?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And we used the experience and the shortcomings from that game and just to improve on some of the techniques we wanted to use, improve on some of the coverage we wanted to use. And so I thought our guys did a tremendous job.
Certainly did up front defensively, kept pressure on Delafield most of the night, got him uncomfortable. Secondary settled in. Tackling was a lot better, more improved than Pulaski. Let's talk about offensively for West Monroe. Coach, you mentioned leading into that game for the 2 weeks before, hey, we really got to get our play action going. This is a big part of our offense, and that seemed to be a huge difference Friday night. Ryder had a great night throwing the football. Your receivers had a good night catching the football. You were able to mix that play action in. Talk about that philosophy and talk about the ability to execute it against North DeSoto.
Well, that's what you're going to have to do if you're going to play under center and play action and run the ball like we do. Then you're going to have to play action off of everything that you do in the run game. And I felt like that we did a great job of that. I thought Ryder had an outstanding night throwing it, and obviously Trez had a great night catching the football. But just the fact that people see that and understand and know, look, they're going to run it, but they're also play action in a bunch. So you better get ready and you better stay loose. And I think that's what we're going to see this week. They'll crowd the box some, but I think they'll loosen up too. Now, my hat's off a little bit to North DeSoto. I did when we got there and we started realizing things, and I was like, well, where's 20? Because he was their best safety, and he wasn't out there.
Gotcha.
And I said, where's 3? He's their best corner, and he wasn't out there. And there's two guys are their return dudes. And so that kind of told you why they were weak in the kick game, because we kicked it off enough to them. But one of them had a lacerated liver.
Oh, wow.
20 did, and then at number 3 was some discipline problems. And Coach told me, he said, this is the first year that I've had, he had his best receiver hurt with a knee, and then he said, I went through all last year, didn't have anything like this, and then 1 week I have these things. And I said, I know it. I said, this, you just cross your fingers and hope that you don't. But so he was down. He said, now, would that have made it? He said, no. He said, y'all are really good. But he said, it would have helped. And yes, it would have.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
So
you miss key guys like that.
Yeah,
you miss key guys like that. It can be hard to overcome. And certainly tonight, like that night, those areas may have been exploited a little bit, and certainly we got behind the secondary a few times. Really, Coach, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen West Monroe dominate the line of scrimmage like it happened last Friday night, up front offensively and defensively. But offensively, you've been able to run the ball. Had 2 running backs over 100 yards. Boobie Miles and Keedron McNeil, which Boobie only really played the first half, and he had 115 or 150 yards rushing. But talk about your guys up front, your offensive line, and how they're starting to come together and starting to clean up a few things.
Well, they're just, we get Chance Stites back. That helps tremendously. And not only do we get him back, but we also we keep rotating those guys in. We're playing 8 and 9 guys in the offensive line, and that's huge to be able to do that. The solid guys are your Damian Sanders and your Hayes Fuqua and Ty George, on that side, and we're rotating the tight ends, and Sam Turner and Troy Smith, and then on the backside, Kane Parks is back healthy again. He played a lot, played really well. You got Chance that's back. You got Cameron Ross. You got Cameron Ware, and you got Shed. Jace Shed has come in and done a fantastic job for us at that open tackle spot. And so there's a bunch of guys playing, and it helps us to stay fresh and to do things well.
You had 5 running backs get a carry. Between Boobie, you had Keedron, you had Willis, you had Pawnee, and you had Ziggy. You had 5 guys get carries. Talk about that running back group that you've got this season, and they all bring something different to the table, it seems, and you use them at different times. What's the method behind that? And talk about the success of that group so far.
Well, they bring, like you said, they bring something different to the table, and it's fun to be able to use them and watch them compete against each other and do some of the things that they've done. And they have, like you said, they bring different qualities. Caden caught a big, third down pass out of the backfield, tremendous catch. Pawnee can do that, and then you throw it to them in the flat, and then they're going to block. That's been probably the most improvement by Christian and with Caden, is they're blocking inside on the power, things like that. But, to have all those guys in the nucleus, it makes for a fresh night, and it makes for your competition.
Yeah.
And guys don't want to mess up because they know they can come out of the game real quick.
That's right.
So it's been a good thing for us.
You had a catch by your tight end, Sam Turner, in the end zone. Glad to see him get back involved in the offense, and can certainly be a weapon, a good-looking player in Sam. Coach, I want to ask you about your play calling and just really the process on a Friday night. I know you've got Coach Birch standing on top of a press box some night, and then some nights in a booth.
Yeah.
But talk about that process and who's involved in the play calling. It seemed like you guys were all on the same page. That's the number one thing the fans like to do from the stands, right? Everybody's the best play caller you've ever seen.
Yes.
But talk about that process and who's all involved in
Well,
it.
that's, it's definitely been Cedric Gowen's show. And we talked early in the year, and I told him, I said, look, there's so much on my plate that I don't want to cheat our kids or cheat ourselves by having to prepare game plans, prepare everything offensively. I said, it's yours. You and Taylor take care of it. Taylor's up in the box, and we met just many days prior to the season and said, what do we want to be? What do we want to do? How do we want to attack people? And we just went down those roads, and those guys are sharp. They understand and know where we're coming from, what we want to try to get done. And it's been an all-out effort, with Matt Walker and Mark Turner, which you're fixing to hear from, coaching the receivers. And what we did, it took us a little bit just to all be on that same page. But the biggest thing is what we do in games, we do in practice.
Gotcha.
And we get tons of reps at those things. And so we will, all the way through Wednesday. We don't like it, throw it out. We'll stay as simple as we can to make sure that those guys can make the throws that we need to make and make the catches and do the things we need. So compliments to those guys, definitely.
You bet. It was certainly on display last Friday night. It will certainly be a challenge this Friday night.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that at the end of the show. We'll talk about Catholic and a little bit about the game plan, the itinerary, all the things leading in to the Rebels headed to Baton Rouge at the end of the show.
All righty.
All right, folks, that was head coach Kevin Davis. We come back, we'll talk with wide receiver coach Mark Turner here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll be right back.
At Century Next Bank, employees are busy working for you. Employees like Lee Denny, whose relationships make an impact in the communities we call home.
So to see positive impact that these relationships can have when you work with other people, when other people appreciate it. And again, it goes back to spending time and trying to help somebody, and it's a very rewarding thing for me as well.
For more on Lee's story, visit bankwithlocals.com. Century Next Bank. What's next for you?
Welcome back, folks, and thanks for listening and hanging with us here on Inside Rebel Football on Wednesday nights, live at Freddy's on Cypress Street in West Monroe. We appreciate Freddy's frozen custard and steak burgers, especially David, the manager here, always taking good care of us. Our other sponsors, you'll hear their commercials throughout our broadcast tonight. Jim Taylor Ford, Family Convenience Clinic, Century Next Bank, Home Improvement Outlet, Polaris of Ruston, Twin City Chiropractic, Dr. Kyle Nix, Rocket Fast Car Wash, Dr. Jeff Counts, and Stanley Dupuy with Dupuy Flooring. Some of our sponsors here for Inside Rebel Football. We're going to keep it on the offensive side of the ball with wide receiver coach Mark Turner. And Coach, second year on the staff, and welcome back to the show. Glad to have you. I know I still remember last year our visit was just a great visit, and talking football with you is a lot of fun. Why don't you reintroduce yourself to our listeners? Again, second year here at West Monroe, but how did you land here with the Rebels?
All right, just want to say I'm glad to be back. Look forward to this all week, honestly. But I had got landed in West Monroe. I was at Tech. Played over there, walked on. Took me a couple tries. I was like a true walk-on at the actually tryout.
Awesome.
Took me a few tries, and then I finally made it. Got invited to fall camp, and then I got my foot in the door and just took off from there. Slowly made my way on. Started out as a walk-on. Special teams, got a lot. Finally learned the scholarship, then started playing a little bit of defense.
Great story.
But Paul Turner, I know, local legend.
Yeah.
He was my coach at Tech for a little while before he went on to LSU. And,
no relation?
No relation. I don't think, at least. I used to mess with I used to mess with him all the time. I used to call him cousin. And he used to look at me like, man, I don't think we're related, but stop saying it. But he's like a big brother to me. He really took me under his wing, took care of me.
Cool.
And we really had made that real nice bond, like player-coach bond. Then he basically took me in his wing and became like a big brother to me.
Okay.
So it was a mutual respect, like our work ethic and stuff like that. So while he was working with me, I had finished my last year at Tech, and I told him I wanted to get off into coaching. He told me I'm in that area, like West Monroe area.
Yeah.
Let me know, and he'll try to help me out. And that's pretty much how I ended up at West Monroe. His connection with Coach Garvin at the time when he was the head coach. Coach Garvin was looking for a coach, and he asked Paul because he played under Coach Garvin, and Coach Garvin had a lot of respect for him. And Paul was I was the first name he brought up for him.
Awesome.
So that's how I landed at West Monroe. But this year, too, for me, was still thankful, still blessed.
Yeah.
They really took me in. They really welcomed me in open arms over at West Monroe. So it was nice. I didn't have to be all uptight, making sure I don't make the wrong move. They let me come in, be myself. So it was just great. Just from, like, the coaching staff and administration.
Yeah.
Like, it's just been great. And it's still the same. So it's been great.
I know. Certainly, I can speak on behalf of folks that are close to the program. Certainly glad to have you. And I know the players enjoy playing for you. Coaches enjoy coaching with you. And so we are certainly glad to have you on our team and on our staff. Coach Turner, let's talk about your wide receiver group.
Okay.
We've got a couple of big-time names here with us tonight, and Lucas and Trez. Trez been getting a lot of action on Friday nights. But talk about that group in general, what they bring to the table, how they've evolved so far this season.
Oh, man. So, they enjoy me as a coach when I'm not being a butthole. I can be a little much at times. I'm intense.
Yeah.
It's just because I have such, great standards for them and expectations. I just want to be great. I tell them all the time, this is bigger than football. So, yes, I'm pushing you in football, but I'm also trying to push you. So, once football is over, because football is going to be over at some point.
Sure.
You need to be ready for the real world. And they do a great job of responding to that.
Okay.
Even as young men, teenagers, sometimes they don't want to always listen, but they know me and Coach Walker mean well, and where we coming from. So they do a great job of taking coaching.
Gotcha.
I feel like for the most part, at some point they gonna always have some little fight back, but they do a great job for the most part of taking coaching, and they always try to work hard. Got to remind them sometimes, pick up the intensity.
Yeah.
They do a great job trying to take the small coaching points and refine them.
I see every now and then some up downs and some push ups over there with your receivers. What's that all about?
Well, so when we at practice, a lot of times we be on air when we going over plays.
Yeah.
So what on air means for people that don't know football as much, it's when there's no defense out. So we just playing catch,
Just polishing up. Yeah.
polishing up backyard football, little catch,
Gotcha.
running the plays. So we shouldn't drop passes on air. That's a bad look, and that's not good chemistry. It's a bad feeling, and it's if it go from one, turn into two, then next thing you know, everybody dropping them.
Sure.
So just a quick reminder to stay focused.
Yeah.
Reason you dropped this because you didn't look it in all the way.
Yeah.
Only reason you didn't look it in all the way because as soon as you caught it, you trying to get upfield and you ain't looking at it all the way in. So just a little reminder.
I got you. Our offense has taken an identity of a physical offense. We've seen it,
absolutely.
against Huntington, put up big numbers. Go to Pulaski, big numbers. And then last week, Friday, just really a physical style of offense running the football, which changes things a little bit for a wide receiver. You go
absolutely.
coming into, hey, we're going to spread it around, I'm going to get some catches, to now it's more of a play action and receivers have to block.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about how that offense has evolved and how you have coached and made adjustments with your guys.
Well, I want to start off with our big guys first because it don't matter what we do, what play we call. It doesn't mean anything if our big boys don't block up front. So I want to start off with that
Awesome.
first. They do a great job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see it or not, if you're not an actual football person really watching in the trenches, but it really starts with them every play. And they've been doing a great job responding to the coaching staff on what they need to do and stuff like that. So it started there first and foremost.
Gotcha.
But far as us turning into that, having that identity of being a run-first mentality, I tell the guys all the time, look, we got to be unselfish. They did a great job of it last year being unselfish, and it's continuing on this year.
Yeah.
So, not much of an adjustment for them because you ran the ball well last year. So this is nothing new, just a different day type of thing. But they do a great job of it. And I tell them, man, if you keep blocking, what's going to happen is they're going to load the box. Now you're going to have your one-on-one chance, one-on-one in our favor. I like our odds. And we kind of just love them to sleep. We set up our blocks a certain way so it looked the same. Then now we into our route, and now we wide open.
Gotcha.
So
big play time.
Big play time, yes,
when that
absolutely.
happens. That's right. And one of the guys you brought with you tonight, Trez Davis, has had a few big plays this season. You've also got Lucas Dupriest, who had a reception last week as one of your senior leaders on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about those two guys before we're going to have them on in the next segment here in just a second. But talk to me about the two guys you brought with you tonight.
Well, I'm going to start off with my senior. I'm going to show my senior some love. First and foremost, like you said, the leader, very vocal. He doesn't mind speaking his mind. He doesn't mind speaking his mind when he needs to. He's not one of those guys that's going to fake it or try to show out for coach.
Gotcha.
He doesn't say much, but when he does say something, all the guys listen.
People listen.
Yeah, and there's nothing he's the alpha or anything like that. It's just a respect of how he works and how he handles his business.
Gotcha.
So that's just one thing with him, and he does a great job of blocking. He probably one of our more consistent guys when it comes blocking on the edge. He runs great routes. I can't stop talking about Dupriest.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's one of the guys we try to tell the young guys to hey, look, when it comes to every rep matters.
This is who to watch.
Yeah, this is who to watch for the most part,
Gotcha.
And then Trez, it's like he's still figuring it out. As crazy as it may seem, I know he's been putting up some good numbers and stuff like that, but he's still figuring it out, and that's nothing but just to attest to like his willingness to learn and his work ethic, and then to take the coaching point, what he sees on film, and apply it to the game.
Yeah.
I tell him all the time because I try to make practice as hard as possible, and then that started when I was a kid, but. When I was at Tech, my coach made a great point of he played in the league for a little while. Jeff Burr is one of my coaches.
Gotcha.
He said when practice is hard, games are easy. So we try to intensify practice as much as possible, and then when we get to games, it's very easy.
Gotcha. And
Trez does a good job of that. Sometimes he one of the guys you got to, come on, man, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Well, he's certainly showing out on Friday nights, and looking forward to visiting with him. Always a pleasure to visit with you, Coach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you being on the show, and look forward to next time. We'll take a time out. We come back, we'll visit with Lucas and Trez right here on Inside Rebel Football. That was wide receiver coach Mark Turner. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.
For years, you've trusted us with your car buying experience. You've trusted us to provide service after the sale. You've even trusted us to help keep your vehicle clean. Now it's time for us to have some fun.
Polaris of Ruston, where the road ends, adventure begins.
Welcome back, folks, to Inside Rebel Football. We're live here on LA 105.3 at Freddy's on Cypress Street in West Monroe. You can also catch our stream on Thursdays. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. You can find that through the West Monroe High School football Facebook page. Coach Ashley does a great job of getting that ready for us. You can also catch us Friday night's pregame show at 6:15 right here on LA 105.3. We'll be on the road down at Catholic this Friday, and kickoff set for 7 o'clock. Should be good weather and really good football game set up for the Rebels and the Bears on Friday night. Now joined by two familiar names to our broadcast on Friday night, Lucas Dupriest and Trez Davis. Guys, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Lucas, we'll start with you. A very familiar name to our listeners and our followers that watched you last year and got to read about you in the off-season this summer, going into the season. It's your senior class, your senior season that you'll remember, but this is your year to put your stamp on this program. How has that felt going into the season, and your thoughts on being a senior leader?
I've definitely felt the pressure of it, but my goal for this season is just to be an example for the rest of my teammates, no matter what cost that is. My role with the team, no matter how big or small, I just want to lead these guys by example and do the best for my senior class, but also do the best for those under me. So. Yeah,
well, that's well said, and there is pressure involved with that. But talk about the off season coming into game one, or really into the scrimmages in the Bayou Jam, but just the attitude and the leadership and the tone you guys tried to set this summer. That's where it started, and of course, you overcame an injury as well going into that. Talk about that journey for us.
It was definitely a rough day. I took the AP Chem exam that day, and 30 minutes later I found out I broke my collarbone, so I had surgery a week later. Tried my best to roll off that and heal quick, and I joined back about halfway through the summer. I was always there, even when I was hurt, just trying to do what I could and lead by example. But when I got back, I just knew I had to pick it up and be the best that I could and make up for the work that I had missed. And so going into the last part of the summer, I was just trying to work as hard as I could and trying to pick up on what I missed, and came back in, and the season rolled around, and now we're here. So,
well, that's impressive to return that quickly, which means you were very disciplined in what it took to recover. So congratulations, and thanks for that example and leading others that I know, one for sure at my house that looks up to you. Trez, very familiar name now on our broadcast, had some big time catches here in the last few Friday nights. Talk to me about what that feels like so far this season, and leading the team in reception yards and having some big time highlights on Friday night.
Yeah, it feels good. O-line was blocking pretty good for me, and quarterback put it where it's supposed to be, and my coaches taught me to come down with every 50-50 ball, so I try my best and just go out there and play.
Well, so far so good. Tell me about those 50-50 balls. So, obviously coaches and Ryder, they've got confidence to know you've got one-on-one matchup there in the end zone or towards the end zone or down the field one-on-one. What's that like? What do you do to win that matchup? Talk to me about what it takes on those 50-50 footballs.
I mean, at practice we work on them a lot. We work on jump balls every single day, and I just go out there, run my route, and go hard as I could, and I just go up and high point the ball.
Yeah. Coach Turner was talking about that, even though you've had a lot of production so far this season, there's still some things that you're working on, still some things you're figuring out. Talk to me about those things and some areas that you want to grow as a player, especially at wide receiver. Talk to me about some of those things you continue to work on.
I not only want to be like a playmaker with the ball, but without the ball. Also, like, I feel like I could block more and, just provide more opportunities for my teammates, like the running backs, and just go out there and block for them so they can make big plays also.
Your father, Tremesian Davis, familiar name to some of the folks that have followed this program for a long time. What are those conversations like? Does he ever challenge you to, maybe follow in his footsteps, or do y'all talk about back in the day when he was a very talented running back back in '98 and '99? But what is that like? With a dad that was so successful in the program.
Yeah, he told me a lot of stories, and I heard from coaches that he was pretty good, and he said that I won't be better than him, so I go out there and I'm trying to be better than him.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
I go out there and I compete.
It's a challenge to you. That's right, using it as motivation. Well, Lucas, a big ball game coming up this Friday as the Rebels go down to Baton Rouge, go down to Catholic. Talk to me about when you guys prepare to go on the road and the focus that it takes, which requires focus from our senior leaders. But talk about road games and road trips. This is third game in a row. Rebels are headed on the road. Talk to me about the mindset as you guys load that bus and get ready to go compete.
Leading up that week, we go through the same process. We definitely just try to take into account everything. But really, it just hits us on the way, really Thursday when we load our bags the day before. You realize, all right, we're going away. We got to bring everything that we've had this week and go as hard as we can go, no matter where we're playing at, whether we're playing in the middle of nowhere or we're playing at Rebel Stadium. I mean, you gotta have the same mindset either way and just have a strong, firm faith in you and your teammates. So
certainly will be a fun environment Friday night, as Catholic always brings a good student section, and it'll be a good crowd on hand on Friday as you've watched film this week and you guys have prepared. Your opinion, what does West Monroe have to do to be successful on Friday?
I mean, we just got to win every matchup possible. They're definitely strong all the way across the board on defense and on offense, but for us, we've mainly prepared for defense. But definitely, we got to be strong up front. They've got some big guys, and they've got some very familiar names in the secondary, and some guys with some big-time offers, and we got to go out there and just compete with them. And we got to respect them, but we also got to know that we have the chance to win this game and to win our matchups. So just got to play hard.
Looking forward to it, guys. And as I like to tell our players, keep up the good work. Congratulations on the early success. But and way to represent our program and Lucas as a senior. Great job throughout your time here. And for those that went to this school and played for this program, it's always great to see leaders like you wear this jersey with pride. And we appreciate how you represent this program, so keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Folks, that was Lucas Dupriest and Trez Davis here on Inside Rebel Football. We come back, we'll turn the page, we'll talk some defense with Coach Jenkins right here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll be right back.
Coach, look what I got, the Rocket Fast Playbook. That's awesome, sport. What does it say? First, you get him in the tunnel. Second, you blindside him with the wall of foam. Third, you call an audible. Then comes the Hail Mary. You hit him with the fast pass. Coach, it's brilliant. No dirty opponent stands a chance against Rocket Fast.
Hey, that's my playbook. Where'd you get that? Oh, it doesn't matter. Just sing the song.
Rocket Fast. It's a blast, and your vehicle is clean.
Welcome back, folks, here on Inside Rebel Football. We appreciate you listening. We also appreciate all of our sponsors, as you've heard throughout the broadcast tonight here on Inside Rebel Football. You'll hear a lot of the same names on Friday night during our broadcast of the game. Again, pregame show starts at 6:15 right here on 105.3. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock down in Baton Rouge. You'll be able to catch every play right here on 105.3. And, again, here on Inside Rebel Football, just like every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, you'll be able to catch us here on 105.3 live at Freddy's in West Monroe, and also on YouTube on the next day on Thursdays when the show gets uploaded there. And we appreciate all the viewers. All of our viewership is up this season, and we appreciate that. And now joined by Coach Josh Jenkins. And, Coach, welcome back to the show. Always a pleasure having you here. Your 4th year here with the program. And one of those voices, you pull up to a game or practice, you're like, well, there's Coach Jink, right there, and you can't miss him. It's a contest between you and Coach Barron, usually most of the time, but I'm picking. I love the intensity that you coach with, and I know the players feed off of your energy. Talk to me a little bit about your style of coaching and where that comes from, that inspiration behind that.
A lot of it comes from a guy named John Berry. He was an Oak Grove guy, came to Ouachita with Pat Collins and coached me when I was in high school. Gotcha. And he was kind of the laid-back guy, and then you messed up, he'd let you know. So that's kind of my mentor, I guess, would be the best way. Cool. Then Brad Moros also, he's loud and intense, and if you've ever, seen him coach, he was always blitzing and, having a good time. Yeah. So that's, 2 guys that I played for, and I've actually coached with Brad Moros also. So therefore, it was just 2 guys who I've learned a lot of the things I know came from them.
You coached defensive line last year, go to linebackers this season, and seen a lot of different names. You guys have done a really good job of rolling fresh legs in the game. I know, especially in Pulaski, the number of snaps you guys played go into North DeSoto. Still, now guys with a little bit of experience, and now you kind of have a process of rolling guys in. Talk about the advantage that brings for a defense to be able to have those numbers and trust, really, to roll some guys in at linebacker.
All right, well, where it starts is practice. I mean, if you're going to play that many guys, you got to get that many guys in practice, because if they're not getting the reps in practice, then they're not going to know what to do come Friday night. So we do a good job not only in the game but in practice of rolling our 2s in when we're going against the scout teams or even with the offense. And, it's calling the same calls with them as we would when we can have our first team in there. And it gives guys like Jackson Talley, Mason Willis a chance when they get in there to be successful.
Yeah. Well, one of those senior leaders and one of those senior linebackers is Parker Todd. We call his name quite a bit on the broadcast, certainly a playmaker for your defense, and especially at linebacker. Talk about what Parker brings to this team and some of his leadership and how that benefits his defense.
The biggest leadership Parker brings to us is he leads by example, and his play shows it. Yeah. And everybody sees it. He's not going to be screaming and yelling at nobody. He might, tap you on the arm and say, hey, you need to do better, but he's not a screamer yeller. He's going to go out there, play hard, and, he's 6'3", 240 pounds, and runs a 4.6. What more as a linebacker coach can you ask for? He's the guy that you dream of, and here he is. I got him, and all I got to get him doing is going in the right direction, maybe, get off a block or 2, and when he gets there, he's going to bring it to whoever he's tackling. It don't matter.
That's right. Well, and a lot of folks are surprised by Parker's speed. If you saw him walk in right now, you wouldn't think, that looks like a 4.6 guy. The speed, he's done it 2 nights in a row now where he's run somebody down from behind and making a play in space. Talk about that. Is that something you knew that Parker had in there, or was that something that kind of developed in the offseason that he's bringing to the table now?
Well, D-Mike, does a good job with our strength and conditioning program, and, we spent time this year changing direction. We spent time running sprints, trying to get faster, and Parker's worked hard at it, and you see it on Friday nights.
One of the other guys you brought with you tonight, J.Q. Turner, has had a very productive last couple of weeks for West Monroe. Has come in and has done a good job, has been a tackle machine at linebacker. Talk about his play and how he has evolved into one of the guys that you count on now.
We knew about JQ last year. He rotated in and out with Colin Watkins and Cole Michael Stevens, and we knew he was on the radar, but it just, he got in against Huntington, and to me that light switch flipped. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, here's a guy with 7 tackles at Huntington and only played 25 to 30 snaps. And then you go to Pulaski, I think he had 9 or 10 there.
Yeah.
And then last week at North DeSoto, he led the team in tackles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's another one like Parker. You get him going in the right direction.
Right.
And the difference between him and Parker's he's stronger. JQ's slippier.
Yeah.
And when he gets that guard or somebody comes out to get him, he's going to kind of give him a head fake and a juke. And next thing you know, he's around him making the tackle. And, there's two different types. You got Parker, the bigger, stronger.
Yeah.
You got JQ,
hard to block.
Yeah, he's hard to block, and he's got great football instincts. And, he sees the play happening when it happens.
Coach, another responsibility that you have on this program. You talked about the kickers. You brought one of them with you tonight in Hunter Fox. Talk to me about we talked off air. That you've got. Hey, so there's some teams out there looking for one. I've got 4.
Yes.
That can go make a field goal and can do and be productive on kickoffs. But so talk to me about the group of kickers that you have.
All right, and when it came this summer, I got Hunter Fox. I got Davis Long, Clark Barron, and Jackson Thompson.
Yeah.
All right. I believe that, Clark and Jackson both play soccer, so they got soccer in their background.
Yeah.
And, I got every one of them can kick it inside the 5-yard line, and it just came down to who could kick it in the end zone. And I said, whoever can get us that touchback on the kickoff, you're going to be the kicker. Yeah. And Hunter has done a great job so far.
Sure has.
He's probably, I don't know what his percentage is, but it's, he's kicked more in the end zone than they've returned when he's kicking against us. And so far, he's perfect on extra points and field goals.
That's right. Yeah, extra points and field goals have been very productive and efficient for you guys. And Chevalier, Daniel, great snapper as well. It's a big part of things and the success of a field goal unit. And but looking forward to catching up with Hunter tonight and JQ. So, Coach, always a pleasure visiting with you. Appreciate all you do for this program and the pride that you have in your players in West Monroe. So, always a pleasure visiting with you.
Appreciate it, Rick. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Folks, that was Coach Josh Jenkins. We come back, we'll visit with JQ Turner and Hunter Fox right here on Inside Rebel Football. We'll be right back.
The Home Improvement Outlet has a must-see iron door collection. Whether you're a homeowner or a builder, we have the perfect iron door for you. And check out our cutting-edge smart glass option, offering privacy and style at the touch of a button. With many glass options available, you can customize your door to match your unique style. We have iron doors that pivot, slide, and so much more. The Home Improvement Outlet in West Monroe.
Now cue that jingle.
The Home Improvement Outlet, you're building for less.
We all know the Friday night lights in North Louisiana can be very competitive.
On the field, we hit hard, knock heads, and play to win.
Off the field, we come together, making our young men and women better, lifting them up.
Suicide is on the rise in Northeast Louisiana. Unfortunately, far too many families have experienced the loss of loved ones.
To help raise awareness and strengthen our community, Jim Taylor Auto Group is rallying to support signs of suicide, and educating our kids is a great first step. Together, we can save lives.
Inside Rebel Football here on LA 105.3 KLIP Monroe. I want to thank Dawson Bowes back at the studio and Tim Gallion here with us. Our sound engineer always does a great job on our broadcast in Inside Rebel Football on Wednesday nights. I want to thank all of our sponsors. You've heard them throughout the night. And big special thanks to David here at Freddy's. Their hospitality takes care of our coaches and players. And we certainly appreciate Freddy's here on Cypress Street in West Monroe. Joined by a couple of guests, JQ Turner and Hunter Fox, a linebacker, JQ, and Hunter, a familiar name to our broadcast, our kicker, kickoffs, field goals, extra points, very successful so far this season. JQ, I want to talk to you, ask you, just got done talking to Coach Jenkins and talked about how you just kind of emerged as now the leading tackler last couple of weeks. Really started in the Huntington game. You got in on just not a few plays, not all the plays. Came in and took advantage of that opportunity and now found a home at linebacker. Talk about your journey to that. I know you took a little time off, came back, and now in that starting role at linebacker. Talk to me about your journey to where you are now.
So I had took some time off because, I had family issues.
Gotcha.
With those family issues, I feel like leaving the team and, working on that, trying to better that was the best option at the time. But, once I found out that everything was going to be straight at home, I had to come back home. I love the sport. So coming back, Coach Davis, Coach James, all the coaches was telling me that, like, we're not going to give you a spot, so you got to work for it. So, you know, coming to the Huntington game, I knew that I wasn't going to start. I don't know if I was going to get on the field or not. So as soon as I got the first opportunity, I just took advantage of it.
Yeah, well, that's great. And it's a great story, you know, a story. And, you know, hats off to the coaches making you earn that spot and certainly motivated you to be productive and have the production and the tackles that you've had so far. Talk about that. Playing that position at linebacker is somewhat the quarterback of the defense, but you've got to avoid blocks. You've got to make plays in space. What makes you successful so far? You've done a good job of leading that defense and being a great tackler. What makes you successful? What do you think you're good at, and why have you made so many tackles so far?
I really just feel like it's just instinct, you know. I feel like once I read my keys, a good job to coaches on game plan. Now, once I read my keys, I just go. If I mess up, I mess up. Everybody made mistakes, so I just feel like I should just go out there, have fun, you know, go all out every play.
Play full speed at all times, and you can certainly see that in the way that you play the game. Hunter, kickoff duties, extra points, field goals. Kickoff so far, it's been a weapon for West Monroe, forcing your opponent to start at the 20-yard line. Talk about that and the leg strength that you've picked up from last season. We didn't put every kickoff into the end zone last season. Now you come back now, and like I said, it's become a weapon for West Monroe. Talk about the strength that you've built there and why that's been successful.
Yes, sir. Last season, I mean, during the summer, Coach D. Mike, he got me, you know, built right, and I finally hit growth spurt, got a little bigger, and legs got bigger, and I just really worked on that technique. Matt Nelson, Coach Strucks all helped me out here, and it's really, I've really been hitting it farther since last season.
Something you take a lot of pride in, being able to put that ball into the end zone. Battled a little bit of an injury last week. Things seem to be healing up just fine. Looking forward to Friday. Let's talk about the production as a place kicker, as kicking field goals and extra points, and what it takes to be successful there. Again, off-season work, but talk to me about that process and, you know, why the Rebels have been successful in the kicking game.
Yes, sir. First off, I'd like to give thanks to my snapper, Chevy, and my holder, Brady Gio. And, you know, without them, nothing would be possible with field goals and stuff. So then I'd give it to O-line, everybody. But field goal kicking, it's just been a lot of work and preparation. Again, D. Mike getting me right for, you know, being able to kick it farther. Coach Matt Nelson helping me with technique and form, and I've been a lot more consistent since last season.
Tell me your personal best, the longest field goal you've made. What's going as of today? What's the longest one you've made?
As of today, a 55.
55.
Yes, sir.
So you feel good. I think Coach Davis heard that. 55. He feels good from 55. So maybe we'll get that chance on Friday night, and maybe you're kicking a lot of extra points and kickoffs on Friday night. That'd be a lot of fun. Right, JQ?
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. That was JQ Turner and Hunter Fox. Always a pleasure visiting with our guys. JQ, before you go, I always like to tell our seniors appreciate all the work you put into this program and how you represent our community and the folks that came before you. So keep up the good work, and congratulations. Good luck Friday night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks, we come back. We'll wrap up the show with head coach Kevin Davis. We'll talk about the matchup with Catholic when we come back. Stay with us.
Do you want to feel better and perform better and get back to doing the things you enjoy? Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Kyle Nix at Twin City Chiropractic. If pain or injury have got you down, we provide long-term solutions to get you back to 100%. Our services include chiropractic care, spinal rehab and traction, deep tissue laser, and Normatec compression. If you're an athlete, weekend warrior, work on a computer all day, or even involved in an auto accident, we can help your body perform at its best. Feel better, perform better at Twin City Chiropractic. We're located at 1117 Forsyth Avenue in Monroe. Call us at 318-582-5029.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for listening tonight here on Inside Rebel Football, our final segment with head coach Kevin Davis. And, Coach, this game coming into this week, one that a lot of folks had circled. Hey, Rebels are going to Catholic. What a challenge that's going to be for West Monroe. Catholic is always competitive year in, year out. Outstanding program, private school, one of the biggest private schools in the state.
Yeah.
And they do things right down there and have had a lot of success. When you think about Catholic, their identity going into this game, when you saw this game on the schedule, is it something that you're like, okay, that's something where it's going to make us better? But just your overall thoughts as you head into Friday.
Yeah, that's what you think. You know, you said, look, there's a standard.
Yeah.
They've definitely been very supportive in that private school standard and holding it up really high at that level. I think they won the state championship in every sport last year as far as basketball, baseball, football.
Yeah.
So we knew going in that it would be we don't call it a challenge as much as we call it an opportunity.
Gotcha.
It's going to be it's an opportunity for us, and we've seen them on film. Those guys they played St. Thomas More, they've played Destrehan, and they've played University. I mean, 3 top-notch programs,
big time,
and they're 2-1 coming out of that. So. That's what we have. We have our hands full, but I tell you what, I think we're up to the challenge. We're excited about it. We feel good about it, where we're going to be, and let's go down there and get after it.
Practice this week didn't really have to dodge a wet bulb or any rain.
No,
had a little shower yesterday, but how's practice been this week? The mindset and of your players. The flow of practice, has it been productive?
It has. It's been very productive. We're finding things out about our players. We're finding more and more out each week.
Okay.
And Coach D might kind of hit it on the head one day. He said, this group is a creature of habit group. You can't throw curveballs at them.
Gotcha.
If you want, and so I've challenged them with that. So this week, we've kind of put in different things that we want to try to do for a 5-minute segment. The first is third and longs, like ones versus ones.
Okay.
We do it for 5 minutes right at the first practice. Day 2 is goal line. Not long, just 5 minutes, but get after it in that. And then today was 2 minute, and 2 minute looked really bad offensively today. I'm not blaming anybody for it, but I told the kids afterwards, I said, when we throw things at you, then one side or the other doesn't do well with it. We got to learn to monitor and adjust and let's roll and go with it at that. And so it's always teachable moments. It's always teachable times. And so that's kind of the way we looked at it. And so we've had a good week.
What does Catholic do well? What are their strengths coming into Friday night? What's something they'll try to take advantage of?
Well, usually I can pick out for the last 3 weeks. I could say we're going to win this part of the game, and obviously it's been kicking game for the most part. Now Pulaski might be a little different story there as far as that, but that was just the onside kick, stuff like that. But other than that, I knew we was going to win that. And this week, man, they are good on all 3 phases. That was one of the things they're coached very, very well.
Gotcha.
And so that tells you a lot. You think about public and private. Maybe not play as hard. Wrong answer. These guys play extremely hard all the time, and they're where they're supposed to be. Secondary looks like a bunch of stallions. They do a great job, but there's just something about it. Maybe it's the confidence that we have. I don't know, but we just feel like there's still a chink in the armor. Maybe not quite the Calvary of old. Not quite the Catholic of old, but we're going to find out Friday night, I guess. And I just think our kids are ready to go out and perform and play.
What's the itinerary Friday? What's the plan for the Rebels? What time you leaving campus and making stops? And
we're going to get out the first lunch. Let them grab a bite to eat in the cafeteria if they want it. Be down at the field house by 12, load up and leave at 12:15. Get to the Francis at about 3, a little before 3, and give them a steak burger, burger, mashed potatoes and green beans, and some water, and we're about 30 minutes down the road.
Gotcha.
Maybe 40 from the stadium. They don't play at home. They play at Memorial Stadium, so we go there. So we'll be there in plenty of time. We'll take our time, and then we'll do our regular notion. It is homecoming night and there's another bulletin board piece. And I told our kids, I said, they picked you specifically for homecoming.
Yeah.
So let's don't let them down any.
Coach, I always ask you about freshman JV this week. You guys went over to Neville. I know JV was canceled. But your freshmen were successful.
They were 19-0. Had a shutout. Coach Macbeth had to provide pizza for them from the first shutout.
Good on him.
Yeah, and then obviously they had some sick kids. They got strep going around.
Gotcha.
And he called me and told me like right before we were going to leave for JV. So I hate that for our JV kids. We got Ruston coming up Monday night at our place. Freshman and JV. I don't see any problems with that. We should be able to play that one. So it's looking good at the freshman and JV levels.
Coach, looking forward to Friday night. Rebels and the Bears. This goes a long way back. There's been some big football games between these two programs, and also run into each other in other sports. And like you said, I think there was a mutual respect between both programs, and that'll certainly be on display Friday night. Coach, good luck and safe travels.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right,
it,
folks. That was head coach Kevin Davis here on Inside Rebel Football, wrapping up the show. We'll be pregame show live at 6:15 on the air, 105.3. in Baton Rouge as West Monroe takes on the Catholic Bears. It'll be a fun 5A football game Friday night. For Dawson Bowes back at the studio, Tim Gallion here with me at Freddy's. I'm Rick Guillo. Good night and God bless.